What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Broke Girls Art School. In today's episode, I will be doing a time-lapse of this dog portrait. Make sure to drop a comment with any questions that you guys have for me, and don't forget to subscribe and like so you see my future content. Let's get started.
So the first step I always like to take with my wood burns is lightly erasing over some of the graphite to lighten it up on the wood a little bit. For this one, I just kind of started on the right hand side and worked my way over. Started with some midtones in the ear. You can see the image that I'm working off of on my iPad over to the left. So when I'm doing wood burns, I'm just constantly looking back and forth trying to match the tones. And with a light colored dog like this, it's really important to accentuate the dark shadows that you can and make sure you really punch in the heavy blacks that you're going to be using. So first, going and getting those darker tones out of the way. And I like to kind of knock out the important features towards the beginning, like the eyes, nose, mouth. Definitely the most important aspect of the burn. And the tool that I am using here is my transfer tip from Razor Tip, and the burner that I'm using is the Colwood Super Pro 2. And just so you guys know, I am constantly toggling with my temperatures. Don't be afraid to mess around with it because you want to make sure that you're not burning too hot and making things too dark or vice versa. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and knock out some more midtones. Just kind of working my way around the face. And I know I say this a lot in my videos, but I always recommend taking a few separate occasions to go back to the same piece. I wouldn't try to knock everything out in one day because, if you give yourself some time in between looking at a project, then I guarantee you'll always find some shadows or details that you missed the first time around. So I did go around the edge of the portrait as well with just my liner. Yeah, like I said, especially with a lighter colored dog like this, you want to add contrast in any way that you can. I always have fun adding the little details like the collar or the dog tags, that kind of thing. You probably could leave them out if you wanted to, but I like adding that kind of stuff in. She did want the name at the bottom, so I stenciled on the name and then I'm going around with just a ballpoint liner, which is from Woodburners. Yeah, I really like the ballpoint tips. They're just super easy to write with. I was burning at about a 5 with my heavy duty cord. So with the ball tips, you got to burn it a little bit hotter to make them transfer easier, but make sure that your pen's not too hot to where it's getting caught on the grooves of the wood. Definitely want to avoid blowouts as much as you can. And blowouts can happen when you hold the pen in the same spot for too long. Sorry, my hand's kind of covering it here. Now we're going in and erasing the rest of that graphite off. The next thing I did was grab my little handy dandy torch. I always like doing that in the background because it accentuates the rings of the wood and just gives it a little extra something going on. It doesn't really take that much time. I got this burner off of Amazon for like 12 bucks. So I'll post a link below if you're interested in grabbing one. I always recommend holding the torch at least like 5 inches away from the burn. Take your time with that because you don't want to, risk it catching up in flames or anything. Now I'm taking my Dremel tool and going around the edge of the puppy and the letters and the name just to really make them pop out. So yeah, I always go around my portraits with the dark liner and then Dremel around the edges just to, it stands out so much more. And it does go by pretty quick as well. Now I'm just going in one last time, darkening up some shadows. Again, adding anything that I think I might have missed. The more contrast, the better, guys. Especially if you're going to be sealing your project, because sometimes when you seal something, it can kind of darken the wood a little bit, so that lessens the contrast that you put in originally. So yeah, keep your darks real dark and your lights real light. And now we're going in with the Mod Podge to seal. So I always pour in the middle and then work my way out to the edges. And I always recommend smoothing it out so it's nice and thin. Always have a toothpick nearby to pick out any debris that may land in it as it's drying. And I'll post a link below to a more in-depth video that I have for sealing your wood burning projects. All right, and this is what it'll look like as it's drying. It takes probably a solid 20 to 25 minutes to dry all the way.
Thanks again for checking out my channel. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to see some of my future content. See you guys.